Hello, I'm a horceror. I found out what makes every single killer tick. I need to know more. I've learned all there is to be learned from Killer 1 tricks, one for every single killer. So, I'm going to be talking to those that help shape our community for the better, going from your favorite creators to the people behind the scenes and everyone in between. Welcome to Stars of the Fog. Alright, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Stars of the Fog. My guest here today is cocoakissies, someone known for flashbangs, moonwalking, drawing feet. I'm sure there's more to it than that, but rather than try to just fumble through all the things that could be a part of this fantastic creator, I'm just going to let her introduce herself. So, hi, who are you? What are you known for? And what do you want people to know about you?
Hello, my name is Coco. I'm 21 years old. I started streaming and making content May of 2025 as a college student, just having fun. And most people know me for my moonwalking, particularly in Chase when I hit a dead hard. I like to moonwalk around loops. Some people know me for my pink filter as well. I do play DBD in pink. Another thing is I do slippery me only runs, and I try to highlight the joys and the benefits of playing really perkless and how that helps you improve at the game if you're newer or if you want to challenge yourself. And lastly, I do like to say large Coke, large fry at the window. I like to treat it as a little drive-through, little role-play meme and help people just have fun in the game instead of taking it super serious. So those are my main gimmicks that people know me for, and it has helped me grow fast and it's a ton of fun. So thank you for having me on here, Horace.
Absolutely. I gotta hand it to you. It's been very nice seeing your growth as a creator, as a person, etc. in the DBD sphere. But outside of the content creation side of DBD, with beginning, because you even started being a creator this year when this is recorded, I don't know if it's gonna be out. When did you actually start playing DBD, and like how did you get into the game?
Yeah, so good question. I have gotten asked this a few times, so I actually know what to say. So I started playing in 2019 November. I was 14, about to turn 15, and I asked my parents, I was like, hey, my birthday's coming up. Can I get Dead by Daylight? And this was when the pandemic had just taken full effect. Everyone was locked down, and as we were all locked down, people were just resorting to video games. So was I. So how I found Dead by Daylight, I used to play a lot of Minecraft when I was a child. So I was on this one little minigame server, and they had a Dead by Daylight in Minecraft. And so I was basically spamming that all day, and it was so fun and addictive. And when I decided to see like where this game even originated from, where the inspiration was from, they said it was from Dead by Daylight. So I looked into the actual game and I asked my parents if I could get it for my birthday. So they looked at the game and they let me, and I've been addicted to this game ever since.
Wow, I'm old. But like we already know, I'm the Unk of the Fog if Hens wasn't there, so it's fine. So when you started playing Dead by Daylight, what was the initial role that really like spoke to you? What character did you really play first, and like why? What was the general first appeal of whoever you started with, and did you play both sides, or what's the actual playing of it like for you?
Yes, so when I first got into the game, I was terrified, obviously. I was the baby survivor, right? I feel like Dead by Daylight is marketed more as a play as the survivor and escape the killer and do all the gens. That's mostly what you hear about DBD, especially if you're new. It's a game about repairing generators, but no one really talks about the killer side when you're new, right? That's more advanced in my eyes. So yeah, I started out with Survivor. I was a Meg main for at least my first 500 hours of playing Dead by Daylight, and I have 7,500 hours now at the current date of recording.
Okay.
But yeah, for the first 500 hours of me playing Dead by Daylight, I had no idea what perks did. I had no idea what was happening. I was just scared, and I was doing what every other new player would do. Play Survivor, hide in corners, and, just be scared of the killer and run in a straight line and die. That is what I did when I was new. Now, as I started playing more and more, I started watching YouTubers at the time to learn how to start looping. Like I started learning how to loop killers. I started learning, hey, I don't have to be scared and chased. And my main changed. I stopped maining Meg because I didn't like her skins, and I started maining Fang. I've been a Fang main since then. So I've been a Feng main for years. In case, I didn't talk about it earlier, I am a digital artist. A lot of my channel art is based off of the Feng cosmetic that I wear because I have been maining her for years. Prestige 100, the whole deal. So I eventually shipped it over to Feng, and I've just been a Feng main ever since.
And you say a lot of your channel art is based on one specific cosmetic for Feng.
Yes.
What is your favorite cosmetic in the game?
My favorite cosmetic in the game is probably Feng Min's like brown ponytail. It's called Lavish Protectress, I'm pretty sure. It's the one in my profile picture on TikTok and in my Twitch profile picture. It's the brown ponytail that came with her Greek outfit a few years ago.
And when you were just starting out playing Meg 500 hours run a straight line die before you swapped over to Feng, and you said you were watching YouTubers to really get into the game, get better at the game, learn how to loop. Who would you say was your favorite creator for that type of thing? Like, who did you really look up to that was like, okay, this is how I'm going to learn the game? Is there a specific person that really helped you improve to the level that you're at now?
Yes, there's actually like quite a few creators that I really watch. I just want to say like Aaron, Noob3, and for Killer, I watched this girl named Umbra, and she's actually where I got introduced to this band called The Midnight, and I played their songs all the time on my stream because of her, because that's what she would always play in the back of her streams, and they were such good vibes. She is such a cool killer main. Yeah, so you asked earlier if I played like both sides or which one did I gravitate to. I'm more of a survivor main. Out of my 7,500 hours, I want to say I have like 2,000 plus on killer, but everything else is on survivor. So that's a big difference, right? Obviously, I'm way worse at killer than survivor, but the killers that I do really like to play, Nurse, Huntress, and Demogorgon are my top 3. Not in that order though. Demogorgon and Nurse are my top 2. I spammed the hell out of Nurse. Nurse was my first ever killer main, which is kind of bizarre for a first killer main because her playstyle it's very different compared to everyone else's. It's just a constant mind game. But yeah, I was a Nurse main. I still am. I'm just more of a survivor main now.
It was 7,500 hours in the game. About how long do you felt like it took you before you really like got good at TN? This is always like the question people ask because we all know that Dead by Daylight has a really high skill curve, right? So even people with like, oh, I've put hundreds of hours into DBD, it's like, okay, well, you're still kind of new,
Yeah, I talk about this all the time on stream. I'm like, because I have a lot of people that come to my stream to learn, and even though I'm not like, I don't advertise myself as I'm strictly educational and optimal. Like I play in a very stupid, like lately I've been playing in a really stupid way. Like moonwalking in a loop is something that is not optimal. You're giving yourself a disadvantage, in chase. You're actively giving yourself a disadvantage in chase, and obviously it's not going to work most of the time, but when it does work, it's the best feeling in the world. And what else? I go for really stupid, risky plays like siege attacks, slow grab saves if I have a coordinated teammate on my team. I go for window techs in chase that if I risk mistiming it, I'm dead. Stuff like that. I go for really aggressive, risky plays. And I'm also a very greedy survivor. I hate dropping pallets. I despise dropping pallets. So I want to say the amount of hours for me to develop my playstyle, it took me like at least 2,000 hours for me. I feel like I just started getting really confident in chase at around 2,000 hours. Minimum. That was when the pandemic was happening. So I was just on Dead by Daylight as a 16-year-old who had online school playing DBD mid-lecture. That was me. And even though, I put in so much time, I got better like really fast. Like still, that's a lot of time, but it was in that short time frame. I put in 2K hours in just 1 year just because of everyone was in lockdown. So that's how much I'd say it took for me. But obviously, like it depends how you spread it out to like 2,000 hours in how many years,
It's a little bit of time, yeah.
To this day, I still have bad chases. I have more good chases than bad chases, though. But, it still happens, right? You still get outplayed. You still versus a really good killer. You still run into a trap. You still die, Things still happen, but it's been more consistent ever since I hit the 2K hour mark.
Okay.
But yeah, I have a lot of new players in my chat who come in and they're like, hey, I'm getting better while watching you. I only have this many hours. And I keep reminding them that Dead by Daylight, back in the day when I was new, 2,000 hours was considered the pro level. Now, what is that mark? Probably around like 4K, 5K hour plus in my eyes.
A bit more than that, yeah.
A lot more. A lot more than 2K. People now view 2K as like a little newer, and that's crazy to me because back when I was newer, that was not the case. People looked at people with 2,000 hours and they were like, oh my God,
And to be fair, there is like more stuff to learn now.
Right?
Back in 2019, like maybe half as many killers as we have now. Now there's more killers, more maps, more perks, more characters, etc.
Yeah.
And you say newer people will come into your chat and be like, okay, well, I'm getting better watching you.
Yeah.
But if you could give a new player one piece of advice for someone getting into DB for the first time, what would you tell them?
Don't go into it alone. I know for some people that's not an option. That's why I encourage people to find a community that's safe for them and try to not play alone. Because what happened to me was I got into this game completely alone, but I had no one to play with. And you know how they don't like solo queue? There's a lot of things out of your control, especially a newer player. First of all, I'm okay with solo queue right now because I feel like I can hold my own. I can tell what's happening now because of macro game sense and knowing all the killer's powers and knowing all the tiles, you know, knowing what items do, knowing what the meta perks are for killers, you know, I can hold my own. But as someone who is new, do not solo queue. Please find someone who is respectful to you to play with and be respectful to them back. Don't put yourself in a toxic swift. Don't let yourself get stepped on because solo queue is just as bad. People will get mad at you. People don't care that you're new. So if you're new to the game, join someone's open lobbies if it's a safe environment. Join someone who invited you. Try to invite people to play with you and be nice about it. You know, like that's the advice I'd give. Don't go into it alone because that's horrible.
Yeah.
Only start solo queuing when you can hold your own.
Actually, when I first started streaming, I was a solo queue David player, and I still have more hours on Survivor than I do Killer now, even though I like almost exclusively play Killer.
Yeah, think about it though. Killer is also a solo queue rule, but you know, that's different. If you're talking Survivor, since I'm a Survivor main, because that's what a lot of people watch me for, they don't really watch me for Killer gameplay because I rarely play Killer. I'm not an educational Killer main. I have not found my footing in the Killer main scene, so I don't really have plans to. But as Survivor, I heavily encourage people to at least, because I have a Discord where I let people like find other people to play with. I've witnessed whole friend groups be made in there. So that's the goal. Killer is different though, because that's something I feel like, yes, playing Killer, I recommend for people to also play Killer if they're newer to the game, but like maybe play Survivor first before you go into that, because Killer is a lot more like managing 4 people, 5 gens, and perks and hook states, you know, like that's a lot for a new Killer.
Yeah, do play both sides of the asymmetrical game. It is good for you in the long run. And with all the positivity you're talking about here, making friends and doing things together, what would you say has been like your best experience with Dead by Daylight so far?
I don't honestly think I could boil it down to a single thing. Okay, I have one, and this was pretty recent, but I've had a lot of memorable moments in this game offline, and ever since I started streaming 7 months ago, I grew really fast. I had a lot of imposter syndrome, still do, but something that was so memorable for me and it made me cry was when Mish did her like tournament, right? She did her streamer gauntlet tourney. It was my first ever tourney. I was anonymous. I was playing as LD, so I wasn't under that pressure that people knew who I was and I could play freely. I did a little window finesse moment against Spooky Loops. He was my Myers, and everyone in the chat immediately like identified me. So that was pretty memorable for me. Pretty memorable that they could tell who I was just from a finesse window vault and the way I looked at the Michael after he missed the attack at the window, right? So that was very memorable for me. It was very, very wholesome. It was a very first time moment for me too. Like I thought like, that was crazy.
Do you often get recognized like that?
I do, yeah, both positively and negatively. I have my haters. I get that. The whole drive-through thing is not everyone's cup of tea, and I get it. That's totally fine. But I'm focusing on the people that come into my chat. When I was applying for partner, a big thing that I focused on was how many first-time chatters I had. And now, you know, part of my community now, they would come in and tell me how much fun they were having just saying large Coke at the window because of my TikToks, because of my content, because of my streams, how much fun they were having watching it, and how it even got some retired players to return to the game just because I made it look fun again. So that's the positivity that I try to focus on. It happens in endgame chats, like my last stream. I ended a stream and I versed a Bubba who was so kind, and he immediately started like talking about large Coke and the whole gimmick thing in the endgame chat, and how other first-time chatters were like, you got me into this game. You got me back into this game because you make it look fun. So yeah, that's the positivity I focus on. It's so wholesome. I don't really try to focus on the negatives too much.
I think that's a good thing to do, or well, not do, technically. So how has your experience with the community been overall? Like just relatively positive then? And how has the community been now compared to when you first started playing the game?
Okay, so when I first started playing the game, I do notice like kind of a shift in how people act. When I first started playing the game, I never really heard these terms like new gen or, comp ladder, or like none of that stuff really mattered when I played the game or when I first got it. And, the YouTubers that I was watching, they were just like wholesome. They were liked, and they still are today. It's just I've noticed an influx today of people that are baby killers, low MMR. Your killers are bots. Your survivors are bots. Like I've noticed some hostility these past few years. I've really seen it this year, and I just don't understand how people went from like well-respected YouTubers who just made content for all of us to learn from, and now they're all of a sudden getting hate in the comments for the killers because the killers are making mistakes, Like, isn't that the whole point of Dead by Daylight content? For the other side to make a mistake? It's a big difference for me. I never really saw any of that when I started playing. It was just more like, here's content, you can learn from it, and it's cool to watch as certain builds work against killers and they don't expect it. But now it's like, if you get a build to work against a killer, it's all of a sudden baby killer, low MMR, 1v1 ladder pubs, bot, something. Do you ever see that? Because I don't know, it's left a bad taste in my mouth seeing all that. It makes me sad because it really did not used to be like that.
I still get hit with shit, and I have almost 6,000 hours in the game, so I never think it's that serious.
Yeah, it's not that serious to me. That's another thing that I try to like make it clear. I'm not a competitive player like that. I'm a casual player who, if I get too tapped, I will laugh about it and give the killer props. I'm not going to crash out at them or call them names, like that's just not me. And I fear that there has been some sort of shift, and I've noticed a lot more of the whole pub bot usage in vocab,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where that came from. I never used to hear that. But I want to say people are also more aware that this game is very grindy. There has been a lot of changes to Dead by Daylight, right? Back in the day, I was literally talking about this with my chat. People used to dodge P3 level 50s because they had a bloody cosmetic. Now there are P100s among us. And I just think that is so funny that people used to dodge a Prestige 3 level 50 Claudette or a Prestige 3 level 50 Nia for a bloody head. Isn't that crazy?
I mean, I won't say I don't dodge some cosmetics, but we're gonna keep that between us, all right? But I wouldn't say a prestige cosmetic has ever been threatening to me.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe I'm the new gen.
No, it was just back when I started playing. Oh my god. Do you remember how they actually had to hide the P3 level 50 badge?
I do not know.
Okay, so back in the day, before the P100 update even came, all you could do was you could prestige 3 times, and each time you prestiged, you would lose all your items and offerings, right? So your inventory would do a reset. So if you do that, you could do it 3 times, get to level 50, prestige once, lose your stuff. So common strat people would do before they prestige someone back in the day, they would use up all their items and offerings to get the most value from it, and then prestige. So that's what people did. It was kind of a grind. It was a pretty big grind, but I don't know if it's anywhere near P100 grinds right now. That's just a lot of time. It takes way longer to get P100 than P3 level 50. But yeah, people used to dodge that.
And they did have that for a while with the new prestige system, and then they started hiding that as well.
Yeah.
You would have a P100, and if you were playing it, they would just be like, well, I'm not going to play against that. Surely when they change it a third time, they will hide it going forward, right?
They might not. I don't know.
I don't think they're doing a third one. Imagine. It just goes forever now. Yeah, that'd be awesome. And with DBD being really grindy and maybe some occasional like negativity in the community, what would you say is your least favorite part of the game? And this can apply to anything.
Least favorite part of the game? That's a good question. I guess if I'm playing killer, picking someone up and hooking them, that's boring to me. I would rather just leave them on the floor. I don't know. That's why I like to bring perks like Forever Entwined Agitation if I'm on killer, just to make that part like super short. What else? I guess doing gens as survivor. I hate doing gens. I'm so sorry. I'll do the gens if I have to, but I despise it. I hate it, but I know it's necessary to progress the game. It's just like, God, it's so boring. On the contrasting side, though, on the opposite side, my favorite part of DBD as survivor is being chased. I love being chased. Even if it lasts 2 seconds, I love it. I would rather have a 2-second chase than do a gen. That's just me. I've played this game for way too long, and I've done too many gens in my life. to be okay with doing another. I'll still do them though, but I would rather be in chase.
If I gotta, I guess. Yeah. No, I get that too. It is a part of why Pyramid Head has like that positive vibe to it, or 2v8 specifically, because like you don't have to go to the hook. You just press space or control and bye-bye, and then I can go back to doing what I like doing, which is, you know, chasing people.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's so nice.
Like, I know why it's a mechanic, but sometimes.
I guess another least favorite part, yeah, I guess another least favorite part is sitting in queue. I don't like sitting in queue. I don't think anyone does, really.
I mean, I don't mind it too much because that's when I can like draw or
Yeah,
something. You know, it's a fun part of being a streamer is entertaining people without the whole gameplay part of it. I think it's neat.
true, true, true. That is true, yeah. Yeah, as a streamer, I've also been an offline gamer for like way longer than I've been a streamer. So me sitting in queue, that's just been the natural thing I've not really liked. I'm trying to think of something else that I don't like about this game.
Would you say there's any fundamental problems with how the game is designed?
Honestly, it being an asymmetrical game and all the balance discussions, Dead by Daylight, I fear it's never going to be balanced. It's never going to be balanced. I've lived through so many metas before, and I only started in 2019, so that doesn't even count the older metas that were busted, like the whole heal build where you would get hit by a killer and heal within 1 second. Yeah, I don't think this game's ever going to get balanced. I don't know if that's an issue though, because it's an asymmetrical game. Maybe it's just meant to be like that, you know? I do think that they've done a lot of steps to improve the solo queue experience, like the whole borrowed time base kit thing, the Kobe bar showing, the HUD showing actions of your teammates. And I think they've done a lot to improve killer things too, like increasing gen times, you know? I think gens used to take way less than 90 seconds back in the day. Brand new parts being a thing, they got those nerfed. Syringes, they actually just nerfed syringes to not let it heal. Styptic agents are no longer a thing. So they've done things on both sides, but I think with each thing they introduce, there's just something new. That's always a problem, you know? There's just something else, and it's never gonna get fixed. So I fear I've accepted it. I've just accepted it at this point.
But with all these metas and brand new part did used to just, oh my god, Dead by Daylight was, people think it's like, if you ever think it's bad in modern day, like let me introduce you to brand new parts, 100%ing a gen at once, styptics existing, thank god that they're gone. Syringes used to just instantly heal you upon usage. It wasn't even a time, like you could Mori on first down. There was a lot of bullshit. But like with all the metas that have been changing, and Dead by Daylight has been changing over the years, what was your favorite meta to play in?
My favorite meta to play in, I think, was the Object of Obsession meta. So how I actually got better at chases, I actually, you know how I do Slippery Me only runs to highlight not only making a silly sounding perk seem good, because it has come in clutch a lot, even though, you know, it's just literally a shit perk, you know. I used to do 1 perk runs with Object of Obsession. Now, what Object used to do, it's a Laurie Strode perk. I know she's leaving the store and everything, so it'll be free. Whenever you could look in the general direction of the killer, if you're outside their terror radius and they were not undetectable, you could see them. And killers hated that perk. I don't know if you remember, but when Object of Obsession was that old iteration, it was deemed as toxic, same as running old keys with old hatch. Toxic. Killers would tunnel you out just for having one of the two. So what did I do? I brought both, and I only ran Object and a Blood Amber key with the ability to open hatch, just because I knew it would get me chased, and it really did. And you know what that did for me? It improved my chases by a long shot. It helped me so much. Getting focused every game like that, it was my favorite thing. And not only that, you know, playing with friends, being able to see where the killer was at all times and tell them where they were, that's stupidly busted. But it was one of my favorite things to do. Hell yeah, the trappers over there, don't go shacks. I just saw him trap that across the map. And the killer could not do anything to stop you from seeing them unless they were a stealth killer. Another thing is, old Object versus Freddy was actually busted because if you were outside the killer's terror radius, you were granted aura on the killer. So Freddy, when you're asleep, you're oblivious. So no matter even if Freddy is next to you, you are able to see him through walls. So that made shack chases for Freddy horrible. With his old snares too, where he had to place them on the floor instead, it was awful for Freddy. I have seen so many Freddy's DC because this perk was allowed to exist like that. Just free infinite permanent wall hacks against a killer at all times.
And they changed it for some reason. No idea why.
No idea why they changed it, honestly. I'm totally serious.
So while we're talking about perks, what would you say is your favorite perk to use today?
I want to say it's between two perks. It's either Sprint Burst or Finesse if I'm playing serious. If I'm not playing serious, then I guess we all know the answer is Slippery Meat if I want to just have some fun and feel like I want to get lucky on the hook. So yeah, I can't really choose between one. It's either Sprint Burst or Finesse. I always run those two together in most of my builds.
Okay. I don't know how much of my stuff you watch, but I'm just going to pretend I didn't just make an entire hit piece on Sprint Burst like a few weeks ago.
I don't blame you. Sprint Burst, the way I use Sprint Burst is very aggressive too. I love to 99 my Sprint Burst. I've been doing this for years, and I was talking to my chat about it, and some of them said, oh, I actually never thought about using it that way. I'm going to try that. So what I like to do, you know how most people usually just use Sprint Burst to pre-run away, or sometimes even 99 it during chase, right? I do that too, but something I love to do with Sprint Burst is if I know the killer's coming at me, I'm going to run straight at them, but with my speed boost, do a sudden U-turn and then run away to often bait a hit. And so not only do I get a lot of distance, I also use the remainder of my speed boost to get away. So I like to play aggressive like that. I love to make the killer miss. So that's usually what I'd use Sprint Burst for. I don't really like to pre-run away and stuff like, I don't like to use it optimally. I like to use it dumb and, you know, in a stupid way, but aggressive way that works.
Of course. And making killers miss. And I know we were talking about Freddy earlier a little bit, but who is your favorite killer to play against as a survivor?
I want to say my favorite killer to play against is Bubba. I love him. I literally had 3 Bubbas yesterday and they all had Lightborn, and that's okay. But you know, I was just so happy to even have the chance to verse that many Bubbas in a day. You know why? So Bubba, when I first got this game in 2019, I'm sure you've heard stories about the infamous camping Bubba. The face camping Bubba, back when there was no borrowed time base kit, which is the endurance that you get off the hook when you get unhooked, or the no base kit anti-camp Kobe bar, the bar that fills if a killer stands in front of you and it gives you a free unhook. There was none of that when I started this game. So whenever someone died against a Bubba, you were dead, because not only could he just stand in front of your hook revving constantly, there was nothing you could do about it. Nothing. Someone could be dead from 5 gens. It was so easy for Bubbas to secure a kill. Although he can't do that now, and they've definitely tweaked his kit. He can't constantly rev like that anymore. Killers can't stand in front of you like that anymore. Something about it, it's just so nostalgic to me. And I also love his power. I love training myself when to drop a pallet or when to greet it against Bubbas, because the way they play, it's very interesting. I love versing moonwalking Bubbas too. It's just nostalgic to me more than anything. I don't feel like it's super big on his power that makes it fun. It's the nostalgia for me. And a lot of the times they're cute. They're really cute. And he has a tuxedo skin, so why not? So yeah, Bubba is my absolute favorite killer to verse. And he's swag. I don't know.
He does look good in his dapper little suit.
He is amazing.
You enjoy his power and playing against it and like knowing when to pre-drop or drop a pallet or et cetera, right? What would you say is your favorite power design in the entire game of DBD, whether that is playing as it, playing against it? And what do you think makes a power well designed?
I want to say Bubba's power isn't exactly like amazing, but I think, you know, he's okay. There's a lot of killers that are okay. There are a lot of killers that are underpowered, overpowered, I don't know, like really good versus really bad for serves, you know. The best designed one, it's a good question. I don't really think that deep. I just play against the killers and I'm like, yay. Is it okay if I say like the worst designed one in my opinion?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the worst designed one I feel, and this is also like my least favorite killer to verse, it's not the end of the world if I verse them, but it's just really boring for me, it's probably Knight. I don't really like versing Knight because it's very not interactive for me. The whole concept of being chased by an NPC versus an actual human making decisions is not very appealing to me.
Oh man, I have bad news about who I main.
It's okay if you main Knight too.
I don't. I play Nemesis.
Nemesis? I'd rather take a Nemesis over a Knight. I feel like Knight's power is, their design is just, you know, like not really great. Not really great. I mean, it works, sure, but on the level of being interactive, no. It sucks. It's doo-doo. I want to say a really good killer that's designed really well, maybe Demogorgon. I'm a demo main. There are jukes to his power, you know, other than the whole M2 zoning thing, right? Deathslinger is cool too. You have so much room to dodge a lot of the time, obviously unless you're doing a pallet or a window, right? You know, when Deathslinger was first released, I don't think he was great to verse at all. His design was buns to verse. He was great to play because they gave him an instant ADS. You could instantly shoot without giving the survivor a warning. It was instant. You could quick scope. But then they actually added like a slower ADS. So it actually, I feel like it fixed a lot of the issues that people were having with the design, right? They've had some really rough launches. I feel like right now, Knights, I don't like their game design at all. I don't like it at all. But a killer that I really do like is Demogorgon. I love Demogorgon. Honestly, I really like Nurse too. I'm also a Nurse main, so the way I played Nurse.
No bias here at all, guys.
Yeah, totally not. But the reason why I enjoy versing Nurses and playing against them because her kit is just a constant mind game. If you think about it, it's just a 50-50. Where is she going to blink to? You know, unless she's too close to you. But if you have like good distance, it's a constant mind game. Constant mind game. So I guess that's pretty interactive. I think that's good to verse and to play as, you know, just who is luckier, who makes the right call, you know? So I like to mix up my playstyle on Nurse as a line of sight or prediction Nurse. It's good to mix it up. If you prediction blink all the time, they're going to catch on. If you line of sight blink all the time, they're also going to catch on. So if you mix it up, it feels like you're going to the casino to gamble. It's fun.
There's even a perk for that with Nick Cage now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Let's go gambling.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of another killer that's well designed. I think Artist is pretty good too. I've been playing her recently. She's pretty nice. I like versing Artist and playing against her too. She does have a lot of like good anti-loop counter things to put at loops. Dredge is really cool too. I love Dredge. Dredge's design is so cool. The only thing I'd say is the Nightfall things being super dark. Not a fan of that. I'm very against accessibility things, you know? I'm very against things that hinder accessibility, like the whole screen turning dark. Not my thing. Same with fog vials. Not really my thing. Other than that though, I think the power of TPing to lockers mid-chase, leaving down a fart cloud that you can teleport to, that's cool, you know? And survivors can see it. You still have a chance of getting them if they don't call it out, you know? I don't know. There are a ton of killers that are nicely designed. My thing with the design thing is interactivity. If they're interactive and chase on both sides, then that's great. If they're not interactive and chase, at least from survivor side or killer side, even both, they're buns.
Interactivity is important, yeah. That's a nice part about DBD though, is that there's always going to be subjective stuff on what is and isn't enjoyable. And so there are a lot of killers that you don't like, you know, a lot of designs you don't think are as up to the agency thing that we talked about. But if you could change one thing in the game reasonably, what would it be?
I would say reduce the grind. They need to actually reduce the grind in this game if they're going to continue adding so many killers and survivors into this game every 3 months, because it's going to just push a lot of new players away if they see the grind, if good perks are locked behind all that shit. If they reduce the grind and focus on the core health of this game, if that was actually like focused on and a little more, not to say they haven't been focusing on it, but just more, you know, more. If that was changed, that would be amazing. Not only for me as someone who is mostly caught up to this game, but the newer people, you know, that would be so nice. And another thing is if they reverted all the old maps, because I'm so biased to all the old map designs. I just really, really, really wish that they had an old, do you know how Overwatch has their like limited time mode where they brought back Overwatch 1 for like a week and you could play Overwatch 1 within the new game because it was a limited time mode just to see how old things were. If they did that for Dead by Daylight, I would cry of joy. I would just cry of joy. I would love that. And remove the prestige tax, you know, like that's a part of the grind. Reduce the grind. That's what I would change.
No taxation without representation. True. Where are our blood points going?
Right? Like, where are they taking them? I'm fortunate enough to have started playing when I started playing, and I had enough interest in the game to play this long to be caught up to a certain extent, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm fortunate enough that that's the case for me. I also talked to a lot of new people in my chat who say they just got the game a week ago. I feel bad for them. I don't think I should be feeling bad for them, but I do. You know why? Because the grind in this game is awful. You will never have enough hours in this game to know everything. No matter how many hours you have, you will never know everything in this game. It's constantly just increasing grinds and stuff, you know, it's just so tiring to think about. I would not blame any new player or anyone if they just wanted to quit from day one. Just seeing how much time they would need to put into this game to even get to this level or that level. And that isn't even the highest level. Too much.
And aside from DBD, people will obviously not have that much time to sink into it just because they do play other things, such as, like, you know, we brought up Overwatch very briefly, but when you aren't playing Dead by Daylight, what are you playing outside side of it? And do you make content on other stuff as well, or is DBD really your only thing that you do content-wise?
I used to be an offline gamer since I started streaming in May. I would always play DBD with my friends. I don't really solo queue that often. Before I started streaming, I would be playing Rivals, Overwatch, Stardew, Minecraft. I played Valorant and League 2, and recently Phasmophobia too. There are a ton of games that I've played offline, but I don't make content on them. I do not make content on those games as well. But now I am a full-time university student. When I started streaming, I also didn't expect the success that I had with it super fast. And, you know, it started to become a thing where I'm able to pay for school myself just because I can Twitch stream for people. So that's been really cool. But in order to maintain that stuff, you know, I do have to make a lot of DBD content. I do stream a lot. So I don't find myself playing Dead by Daylight or really mostly any other game offline unless it's like once in a blue moon with friends. But most of the time it is Dead by Daylight and I don't really play it offline. I always just try to stream it now. That's why I also don't want to get burnt out if I were to play Dead by Daylight offline. I was talking about this earlier, but since I stream Dead by Daylight content so much and I make so much Dead by Daylight content, right? Every month, every day, every week, I fear that I would burn myself out if I played it offline or even consumed DBD content offline. As soon as I end stream, I want to disconnect from Dead by Daylight, and that's what I do.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm not opening this game if I'm not live. I'm being so straightforward with you. Like,
yeah,
I will edit. I enjoy editing a lot. I have a good time with it. You know, I enjoy doing stuff like this. But if someone's like, hey, come join my Swift offline, like, unless I am having a really, really off time and I need to do something with people, it's just not happening.
That's exactly how I am now. And it's definitely shifted like routines and stuff because obviously I'd have my nightly Swift that I'd join before I even started content creation. But now that it's more of a serious thing, you know, content creators can relate. You're not going to have that much time to play offline or that much energy to play offline if you're constantly like at work, streaming. Like, let's be honest, this is kind of like work, you know? It feels like you're doing something, you're working, you're streaming, you're entertaining, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a job in a way, but it's a fun one. So yeah, obviously I did not have that much time to game offline. I have a dog, I'm a student, you know, there's other things in life that I also can't offline game, and then I just miss out on all those things, you know?
So you're not playing DBD in class anymore?
No, I would only do that for DBD Mobile, but then it got shut down. I would boot up DBD Mobile mid-lecture.
Oh my god, don't do that. Don't do that.
It's okay, I can't do that now.
Okay, well, something good came of that then.
True.
Get that degree, W education, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm trying.
So while we're still talking about like content stuff in general, what has been your favorite thing in DBD that you've been like a part of? A video or a tournament or a collaboration? What is your favorite project in the DBD sphere that you've been attached to?
I actually have a few. So first I'm going to start off with the tournament. I've only been like two or three tournaments. They're not really my thing, but my favorite one and my first one was the one that Mish held in the August of 2025. It was a charity tournament. It was called the Streamer Gauntlet, and it was kind of a mystery. All of these streamers were coming together that Mish had invited.
A mystery, if you will.
And the whole thing was to focus on people's gameplay and how entertaining the matches were, and having everyone's name hidden so that there was no bias. In case you saw someone like Aaron in the tournament, you know, he's a really popular YouTuber. People would not just instantly be biased towards him and vote for him instead of someone else who also did really cool. You know, like they would just not know who was behind the player. They would not know who was playing on that anonymous Elodie or that anonymous Quinton. And it was just so cool to see. It was my favorite thing ever. And especially with my community also recognizing who I was, even though they couldn't see my username. That was just so wholesome to me. I talked about it earlier too. It was my most memorable moment for this game. Another thing is I also have some TikToks that have done really well. So some of my favorite TikToks, I actually posted a whole compilation of me saying large Coke at the window. And this was during the summer. This was during July, I think, July, when it was just my first month of streaming and I was just posting for fun. That TikTok has nearly 80,000 likes now.
Ish.
Because people just really like the humor. Another one, I did like a face reveal TikTok 2 months ago now, I think. It was a duo with Failure. So that was my first time duoing with him. And it was my first ever face cam stream. So that was hype. It was just a really funny TikTok that I edited of me and him like having like this funny like sibling rivalry kind of vibes in the duo. And so people were really liked it. It was funny. Those are just videos that really popped off, and they're also my favorite too. I also got into like posting long form. I've done 2 YouTube videos so far. So one of them is a DC compilation. The other one is just me running only slippery meat and having good chases. So yeah, those are my favorite videos that have popped off. And the Mish tourney as well. My favorite thing that I've been a part of was definitely that. I've started collabing with a lot of creators now, but back in August, I had never collabed with any other streamer until August. So I collabed with Mish. I locker CJ'd her in the basement, and that was fun. So I've collabed with Quaddy, I've collabed with Daphne, I've collabed with Sharkvader, who some people recognize as my older sister figure to me. So I love collabing with her because you know why? That tournament that I participated in has opened all those doors for all those collabs, because I don't think I would have had the confidence to even reach out to ask to collab with people if I wasn't in that tournament, you know, which I'm so incredibly grateful for, to be invited to that tournament by Mish. So yeah, I've done so many collabs now. It's been really fun. That's not even all of them too.
Okay, and while not technically in the exact same vein as far as collaborations go, Dead by Daylight does do this thing. I'm sure you've I'm sure you've heard of it, where they do licenses.
Yes.
Which is essentially just a collaboration between BHVR and whatever company the license is coming from. So when DBD's design is brought up and how BHVR does both licensed content and original content, do you think BHVR does a good job maintaining a balance with both of them? Or do you think they do a little too much license, a little not enough license? Like, what is the ratio there for you? And are you more of an enjoyer of original or licensed stuff from them?
Okay, so I feel like back in the day, there was more original. And so people were wanting more licenses. I feel like right now, it's a little too much license and people want more original. And I feel like no matter what happens, if there's not like a balance, we're not going to be happy. No one's going to be happy, right? There are people out there who want only licensed. There are people out there who want only original. I personally feel like right now, there is a little too much license in the air. Little too much. But they've been really good licenses though. They've been really cool and well-desired licenses too. So I don't have an issue with it. I think I favor original survivors. You know why? Because cosmetics. I think original survivors and killers have more freedom with cosmetics, and they have a lot of, you know, cool outfits that you could do on everyone who's original, just because they are not barred by being licensed. Lara Croft is one of my mains. She is licensed and she still does not have a sweater. That is a punch to my gut. That is a knife through my heart, because I just love her and they are just never going to give her a sweater because she's licensed. However, V already has a sweater. She's original. You see where we're getting at? Like, there's just so much more happiness with original survivors regarding cosmetics. Because, like I said before, there has been times where there's too much original, way less license. Everyone wants license, right? Now it's like, there's way too much license. There's not enough original people anymore, you know? I don't think they balance it well right now, but I think they could. They could in the future. I think right now, they're also adding some really popular licenses really close together. Like this summer, we just had Five Nights at Freddy's, and now we're getting Stranger Things, and we just had The Walking Dead, right? It might just feel like a lot to me. Maybe they are spreading it out well. I just don't notice because of all the hype. It feels like I'm being drowned, right? Like V just came out, but we're still just talking about Stranger Things, right? It's more of the original survivors that they are releasing getting drowned out by all the surrounding licenses, right?
Right.
Another thing is, when Pyramid Head came out, Silent Hill came to this game, it was so hype. I watched the whole anniversary stream for Pyramid Head's announcement. It was the most hype anniversary stream I have ever watched in my life, because no one knew who the killer was. No one knew. There was no leaks. Everyone was theorizing who this license could be. I think that made it special that it was a licensed killer, because everyone was theorizing. There was no one to ruin the surprise. The only moment people found out was when it was played on the official stream. I feel like we can't say that now, huh? There's a lot of leaks or spoiling happening with file mining and stuff. I don't think we'll ever get a moment like Pyramid Head's reveal ever again in DBD or gaming. It happens in all sorts of games where things are spoiled, right? So yeah, I feel like too many licenses right now, it just doesn't feel special. It feels really drowning. It's drowning out all the other original chapters that we're getting. So yeah, I don't think they balance it well.
And when it comes to licenses in general, I know this comes up a lot with DBD being kind of the horror Fortnite in the entire sphere of gaming in general. But when licenses come out, would you prefer Dead by Daylight to be strictly horror oriented, or would you be open to collabs that aren't as horror? Like, I know that some of them like kind of toe the line, like Nick Cage or Lara Croft, horror, like capital H horror, like the Jason or the Thing or Dead Space, stuff like that. Do you think that it's okay to kind of toe that line as they've been doing if it's like something that works? I'm not saying that we should bring up, I think Call of Duty is the one that people point to a lot when it comes to collabing, and Fortnite, it's kind of a complete tonal shift from the game. How do you feel about that type of collab?
Honestly, I don't really mind it because as long as who they're adding is like relevant in some way, I feel like whatever license they add to the game, it connects the two fandoms. It connects the DBD fandom to that license, and it also connects those licensed fans to Dead by Daylight. I've talked about this before on my stream about how I only started watching Tokyo Ghoul because they got added to Dead by Daylight, and vice versa. It probably, Tokyo Ghoul fans saw that the ghoul was in Dead by Daylight and they were like, oh my god, I'm gonna check out Dead by Daylight. I feel like the same thing happens for a lot of different licenses, to the point where I am really not opposed to that. If it helps the game grow, then I am not opposed to them towing the line. Dead by Daylight is a quote-unquote horror game, but if they're already adding Nicolas Cage or Lara Croft and it's helping people find the game or find these actors or these series, then I'm not against it. It really doesn't hurt anyone, I fear.
I think it would definitely depend on what it is, though.
Definitely, yeah.
Like, I definitely think there's going to be a license that would be like, no. But then there's stuff from like non-horror stuff. Like, I think my favorite example of like a non-horror license of like something that would be horrifying right now would be like a Big Daddy from BioShock. I think that would be dope as hell. And like Rapture would be a fantastic map. It'd be neat. It'd be cool. Like, it would be a unique thing.
Yeah.
But then like some licenses I see like suggested and I'm like, what are we doing, man?
Definitely, yeah. I definitely would depend. But I feel like most of the ones I'm okay with. The ones that are in the game, I'm okay with it. The one that really confused me was when Trickster released, and that's an original killer, but I was just really confused because that's a human singer throwing knives at me, and he's just, he's looking at me all angry. That was confusing, but I learned to accept it. I'm just used to it now.
Trickster isn't my favorite, but I'm not going to say he's not horror because he is. It's a very unique design when it comes to things like that.
Yeah.
A high profile guy who's also secretly a murderer is like one of the oldest tropes in horror. Like, the most dangerous game is just a bunch of rich people hunting people with guns. And like the Skull Merchant, same kind of vibe. The Trickster, same kind of vibe. Just like, I have so much wealth that I can kind of do whatever I want type deal. So I do think the Trickster fits in, just maybe in a little bit differently of a way.
Yeah.
But I think if every single killer in the game is just guy with knife, the game would get very boring very quickly. He is technically a guy with knife, but there's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, I know I keep talking about licenses and all, but are you specifically a horror fan, or are you just someone who plays Dead by Daylight that happens to be a horror themed game? Is there a favorite chapter you have specifically because you enjoy the source material it's from, or is there a dream license chapter you would like to have added to the game?
A dream license chapter? I don't even know how this would be done. I would really want Slender Man in Dead by Daylight. However they work that out, that would be so cool. Just really creepy. I am mostly someone who plays DBD just because it's DBD, just because I really like the game. I don't really mind who the killers or survivors are. They're really cool. Perks are cool. I'll play it. In fact, Dead by Daylight has introduced me to who Michael Myers even was, because at the time I was so young. I just wanted a cool game to play because I really liked the mechanics of it. I think Dead by Daylight has introduced me to all these horror icons. I never really knew who they were before the game. But I do have a favorite chapter just because I grew up off of this game. It's probably obvious, it's Five Nights at Freddy's. I grew up off of that game. It's just so nostalgic. All of my friends really also grew up off of it, and they find it very nostalgic. Seeing Springtrap or the Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria in the actual game, it's just a special place in your heart when you see something super nostalgic. So yeah, I want to say it's Five Nights at Freddy's. It's my favorite one.
And do you feel like it was done justice in DVD?
Kind of. I do really like versing Springtraps. They are one of my favorite killers to verse aside from Bubba. However, I think that they could have done better with the map
Oh, absolutely.
and the skins.
Yeah.
I think they absolutely could have given us more, but I'm just glad that it's in the game in the first place.
Same with the Walking Dead map too. It was just like, we're going back to Withered Isle. Here's your one tile.
I'm not even going to consider that like a full map. Oh god. The Don't Dead open inside the door.
Yep, that's what we got. Absolutely. So DBD has been a game that's been around for a really long time at this point. We're about halfway through our 9th year, and when 2026 rolls around, we're going to be in Dead by Daylight's 10th year, which is a very long time for a game to go.
Yeah.
So with all the patches, all the metas, all the things that have gone right, all the things that have gone wrong, all the collabs, all the characters, all the people that have come and gone, and all the creators that have done the same, how long do you think Dead by Daylight will last?
Good question. Oh my god. So when I look at other games like League of Legends that have been around for decades, you see those games and you're like, oh, I don't think that game's gonna die. There's so many people. I don't know if I can look at DBD and say the same, but at the same time, how many people are even playing DBD this year? Because there's probably a lot, right? I'm sure they've had their peak this year out of all years because of all these chapter releases. I feel like it's gonna last a good bit. As long as they pay attention to their game's health, they pay attention to all these like grindy things, reduce it, make it better for new players, I think it'll last for a lot of years to come. They've made it 10 years and they're just going up. I see the player count numbers, the successful chapter collabs. These are just helping. They're helping bring a lot of people to the game. I think they have a good shot at lasting long in the future.
I think it would be very hard to kill DBD at this point in time.
If you also think about it, all the other asymmetrical games that have tried to compete with Dead by Daylight just end up falling off. Wonder why? Because Dead by Daylight is like just one of a kind. It's gonna be hard to kill the game, like you said.
Yeah, until there's like a genuine competitor.
A genuine competitor, but when?
Yeah.
League has competitors too, like Dota. Dota is similar to League, but still, League is just, it has its footing. It has a footing.
Absolutely.
Same with Dead by Daylight. It's one of the most popular ASIM games.
And while even talking about MOBAs in general, I used to play League of Legends. Who hasn't at this point? It was free. But MOBAs in general are a genre that I ended up quitting because of various reasons. With DBD, what would make you quit Dead by Daylight for good?
What will make me quit DBD for good? That's a good question, because I'm not really sure. Some people have jokingly asked me, if they nerfed moonwalking, what would you do next? I don't know, because the reason I even got into moonwalking in the first place was because they nerfed everything else I liked. I feared that if they took away things in the game that I really, really liked, I would just move on to the next really stupid thing to start liking. That's just how I am. So I'm not even sure if they could get me to quit unless they banned me. I'm really not sure. Even if they took my progress and reset it all to 0, I fear I would still come back.
It's hard to get rid of you then. Continue playing my ASIM. Yes.
Yeah, I really don't think I would quit DBD over anything unless, if there were a million more knights in the game, then sure. If they added a million more killers just like the knight, oh my god, I'm gone.
Okay.
Maybe that's it. Like freaking anything AI or something, I don't know, or something really bad coming out about the game, then I'd probably be like, okay, I'm gone. But at the moment, I don't think there's much that would make me quit.
All right, cool. Well, that's kind of all I've got here today. I want to say, thank you for being here.
Of course.
If you want to let everyone know all the places they can find you, get more cocoakissies content, feel free to just shell all your links. Time is just here for you to talk about what you want to talk about. So I'll just stop talking and let you go.
Okay, well, thank you, Horace, for having me here. This is my first time doing something like this, so it's really cool. A lot of questions that I definitely did not know the answer to because sometimes I just boot up Dead by Daylight and I play to have fun and goof around and troll while still trying my best sometimes. But yeah, I'm just a content creator who likes to just chill, make people laugh, be stupid. I like to let go a lot. I also love silly movement text, so if you would like to find me on my socials, I do stream on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. I stream on all 3 platforms. I post on all 3, and I also have a Twitter if you ever want to find any announcements that I make or any art pieces that I post. Should I say that you'll find them in the description or something?
Yeah, sure, and you will find them in the description.
Yeah, Horse will put them somewhere for you. Horse will put them in the description.
They're in the description and on your screen right now. How crazy.
Wow. Oh my god. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. Stay safe in the fog, serve large cokes and fries, and run slippery meat because it's meta. Yay.
Don't do that last one. That's not true.
It's great. Trust me.
Do not trust her. They're trying to misconstrue it, I promise. Trust me. So whimsical.
Love that perk.
Thank you for being here. Do check out cocoakissies, and I appreciate your support very much. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, morning, noon, evening, or night, whatever it might be. Go check out cocoakissies, and I hope to see you in the next one. Catch you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.